So in San Francisco, nudity is becoming a problem. Here it is at one of the superintendent meetings. Um, the Somebody went in there and began to unrobe, and there are other parts of the city where people are doing it. So that now the city of San Francisco and county um, must pass some regulations to eliminate this sort of behavior. And what's causing this? Well, I'm sure that these people here, they don't have an education and they're evil, because these are the two things that are happening in America and the world today. Folks go to college, they did nothing, they did everything else except learn something and developed their intellectual abilities, that is, knowledge, understanding, and wisdom. They don't have any of that because it was just the parties. You could drink and smoke and play games with the teacher and play games and so on and graduate. And then they start off with Halloween and they went into different levels of voodoo, Harry Potter and all that, so that they're evil. And when you have that combination, you could expect anything that is bizarre and extremely unethical and abnormal. You see, some way, somehow, the enemy was able to persuade folks that individuals are inherently good and that you don't need religion or you don't need any of that thing. People will do what is right. And that's something good. Just like when it told some people that you could go to school, you don't have to know nothing, just know where to find the stuff. And that was exciting to them. But they didn't see down the road that it's going to lead to a variety of um, bizarre behaviors because the principles are established in school, but if you don't know them, then they will come with some eloquence to persuade you, and you accept some foolish idea which is going to hurt you down the road. And people are practicing evil, and it looks innocent. Evil is almost everywhere now. I recall me and my girl; she would like to watch what a show called Times, um, Women, Ladies Times, or something like that. And many of the episodes were on evil. You see the blind is glowing, and then there's a weird sound and things moving and so on. She likes that. This lady would meet in the park with her grandson who is dead. He would just appear and they're having conversation and so forth. And that is so evil, but she thinks that is normal. And her life is in turmoil, but she can't see it. Recently, I met in Puerto Rico a woman, a white girl from somewhere in the States, and she told me that she was involved in Wicca, and it really messed her mind up. And she's really messed up because how it came to that, how she came to tell me that. I inquired and she went to college and she just had a few credits to graduate, and then she slipped and now she's walking the street, living in the park, hustling, prostitution and so on. And I'm trying to find like, you know, I told her, why don't you go to college and train for something and get a job here? She said, oh, I went to college and this and that and so on. She was doing, I think, psychology and so on. And, that's the case. So she went to this week and I don't know what week is. I don't research into these things. As long as I know it's not, what the Bible advocates, I'm not going to waste time tracking it down. I'm not going to read Harry Potter to see where people are going wrong. I'm not going to try magic. I'm not going to get into Stephen King books. I'm not going to get into anything that is kind of bizarre and abnormal. And some folks like to prove things. They pursue all evil instead of just pursuing the truth and the good. And then, of course, the evil will always be obvious. And it's not logical. It's not making sense in a lot of ways. But you have to trust your intuition and stay away from these things because, Satan himself, he's the one that started this logic thing. Because I believe that logic has its place. And when knowledge was developing, you had to use a whole bunch of premises and knowledge and so on. And people still use it today. But some things are truth. And it looks as if it's false. And you might want to show logic to make sure that it's true. And so I don't have to go through all that. Jesus never taught logic. He speaks the truth. And a lot of people can understand it. He spoke to Nicodemus. He said, you must be born again. I mean, Nicodemus came, how logical is that, Jesus? How can we be born again? Can I enter my mom's womb and be born again? And Jesus said, "Look, man, you're supposed to be a teacher here in Israel, and you don't understand that." And what he was talking about is being born not physical but spiritual. And so there was no logic to it. It didn't make sense, but you know what? That was the truth and the whole 9 yards. So I don't pursue evil to be able to say it logically or to present nothing. I mean, in my view, it's not important. What I need to do is to teach the truth. All right, I don't have to get into that, but sometimes you have to go into that. And so, with these people doing these things now, robbing, walking naked, men having sex in public, so on, where it's going to stop. But you see, when God was ruling and was in the hearts of people, He will have that police effect on you. You know that you planted this robe, and He's going to persuade you against it. It's going to show you a better way. In fact, you won't even come to the level of doing that if you're, led by the Spirit, etc. If you live in a kind of a upper class lifestyle. Because while I live here in Skid Row, I'm not part of Skid Row. While I'm in Skid Row, I'm thinking in terms like how we can make this world a better place. How this could be different, as opposed to the next set of months I get me a next smoke or next drink or something like that. So I'm saying that we should be thankful that God is good and that everything is right, and we can't make laws for everything that people are going to try. See, God just has 10 laws: thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal, and in court they don't deal with thoughts; they just deal with motives. They just deal with what actually happened. And sometimes motives come in certain criminal proceedings, but generally, unless the person has made the overt move to commit something, attempt at least, you can't charge the person with anything. But God, while the person is thinking about it, God's saying, you know what, you're guilty already of committing that crime. So if I hate somebody, that is also like murder. See? So there we go. And of course, God isn't interested in making all these laws we have, so we can't say that He's going to help us to make the right laws. What He wanted to do is to write His law, His 10 Commandments on our minds, so that we could, and then the Spirit guiding us, we'll be able to avoid so many of the pitfalls that are out there. So don't think that we could outlaw all the things that we're going to try. You don't even know what we're going to try next. And to be trying to follow them up and trying to outlaw them, it's going to be just a life in outlawing stuff. Why not easier? Do the easier thing and let people, accept the Lord and let Him be the police and the lawmaker.